Hi, my name is Trent Benham. This is my signature assignment for Anthropology 1000, summer of 2024. My topic today is anthropological approaches to veteran suicide prevention. The who, what, where, when, and why of this. The who is veterans and service members. Why is veteran and service member suicide prevention. Where, all over the world, focusing mostly in the United States and places where the U.S. Armed Forces are deployed. When, present day, focusing on the global war on terror to present. Why? Because suicide prevention is bad and largely preventable. Of course, it's not 100% preventable. There's always going to be external factors and other things happening, but a lot of the cases could be prevented. My sources here are Cultural Problems Require Cultural Solutions by Seth Allard, who's a Marine Corps veteran. This was written in 2022. He's also I believe he's a PhD student right now in anthropology. A DoD press release, Annual Report on Suicide in the Military, calendar year 2022. This is mostly just data supporting my thesis and combating veterans' deaths of despair from the Duke University Department of Psychology and Neuroscience. This is going to serve mostly as my non-anthropological source. This is kind of demonstrating the current modes of thought and the current treatment methods. Some background on veteran suicide. In 2022, 492 service members died by suicide. This is down from 2021, where there were 524. However, because of a drawdown in force, there aren't as many service members, so this was actually a 3% increase in overall rate per capita. Most of those who died by suicide were young, male, and enlisted. For those not familiar with military rank structure, enlisted are non-officers, people who, of course, some of them have been to college. They have not been to college typically, and they serve more of the rank and file, the everyday people in kind of non-administrative roles. For instance, I'm enlisted right now in the Utah Army National Guard, and I work as a mechanic, and I'm under officers who are pilots and serve a more administrative role. The current treatment for veteran suicide prevention is mostly psychological and neurobiological, as well as untrained service members providing resiliency and suicide prevention classes. There is a lot of value in both of those things. There are some causes to veteran suicide that can be tracked down to psychological issues and neurobiological issues, but a lot of it is cultural, and I think there's a big gap in understanding that could be solved with a more anthropological approach. The main subfields of anthropology that I believe would help are cultural and ethnographic anthropology. I think if we had dedicated personnel, either what we would call green suiters or blue suiters, service members themselves or civilians who served a dedicated role, it would help us to be able to understand and talk about these things in a little bit more educated position. And Seth Allard in his white paper, Cultural Problems Require Cultural Solutions, covers that in depth. Some of the proposals that Mr. Allred puts forward are permanent embedded anthropologists who live every day with the service members, observing them, seeing things, understanding them. The military culture is extremely unique. It's difficult to understand to somebody who's not intimately familiar with it or understand some of the nuances. There are things that are acceptable in a military cultural environment that aren't accepted in an everyday cultural environment, and there are things that are accepted in an everyday cultural environment that are not accepted in the military. So having dedicated anthropologists to be able to observe that and to come up with theories of different behavioral things and really be able to dissect that could be very helpful. Another approach that Mr. Allred puts forward are developmental and lifespan approach. So being able to see through specific, he talks about Marines, but to see through either Marines or airmen or sailors or soldiers, and being able to see them ideally from before they join the military, but that would be difficult to track down accurately, but at least through entry and initial entry training into their job training and into their field and into their unit, to be able to see maybe if there are some key moments where there seems to be kind of a separation from those who may struggle with this and those who may not. If we could see them prior to them joining the military, if we could see if maybe there are certain cultural kind of keys before joining the military that make people either more or less likely to be well adjusted once they join the military, could be very helpful, as well as some of the last thing that Mr. Allard proposes, and is a lot of interdisciplinary collaboration. So being able to talk to non-military anthropologists as well as non-anthropologists, support personnel, such as these neuroscientists and psychologists, to be able to see if there are things that they can benefit each other with. And that concludes my signature assignment, my presentation on this. This is a topic that's near and dear to me. I hope that we can find some solutions to it by being able to understand the military culture and the military lifestyle a little bit better through the use of having these anthropologists in observing and being able to really ingrain themselves in that culture and being able to understand it.